Dr. James J.C. Cooley. That's right. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. That's right.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And wow, we've got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way today. And I tell you, this young man is going to excite us. You got a new book out. I'm not going to give it away, Michelle. I know you're looking at me strange. I'm not going to give it away, but I tell you what, hey, Todd, what I want to do is lock in all the platforms at the same time. And then we're going to bring this great guest on.
All right, here we go.
It's that time. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello. Welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And hey, Todd, we got a good one coming up today, man.
All right, looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, I tell you, we're gonna talk about this young man book that he got out. Also, we learn a little bit about him personally. But I tell you, Michelle, I'm excited about this guest. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's beautiful days in the 80s. And, I'm excited about this guest too. We got a chance to talk to him a little bit before the show went live. And we're excited to talk about the new book that he has out. So let's roll with it.
I tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of the show, whether it's E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, welcome to the show. If you're listening to us on the radio, all you have to do is just pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Michelle, can you do the honors and introduce the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this fantastic guest?
Yeah, so the title of today's show is called The Freedom Framework. So we're having a conversation with Jack M. Cohen. He's an author, founder, and CEO of Darkknight Ventures. He's an Iconoclast Executive and venture capitalist. He's going to talk about 3 keys to success: 60 practical business frameworks for effective networking, productivity, and problem solving, how to master the art and science of collaboration, time management, and team leadership, strategies to invest in yourself, fueling self-reliance for true independence. And he's going to discuss many more. Again, he's the founder and CEO of Darkknight Ventures, and he has over 43 years of experience in commercial real estate finance and business leadership. He guides C-suite executives, entrepreneurs, and young professionals to accelerate growth and optimize their careers. A recipient of the CREFC Founders Award, he serves on multiple boards and advises major investment firms. He holds a master's in construction management from Stanford University. I'm interested what construction management is, but we'll ask that later. Welcome to the show, Mr. Jack M. Cohen.
Thank you, Michelle. JC, what an energetic introduction. I wish I could bottle it.
How you doing, Jack? How you doing?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and excited to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, and invite your audience to ask whatever questions they want as well. If I don't know the answer, I'll make something up.
Jack, besides what Michelle had read on about your bio, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about you, where you grew up, why you're so passionate about what you're doing?
Well, let's see. We could spend the whole time just doing that. So push me over if I go too long. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, a northern suburb, Highland Park. I'm the oldest of 4 siblings, 3 brothers and a sister. When I was a little boy growing up, my favorite book was Curious George. And Curious George was always getting in trouble because the little monkey was kind of looking over the fence. And I have always been that way. And then I'm 10 years old, and the real James Bond, Sean Connery, shows up in Thunderball, and I see him fly a plane, scuba dive, black belt in the martial art. I didn't get the girl thing, but yeah, I'm just doing all these cool things, and I'm thinking I want to be like that. And so fast forward, I have become I've always had a superhero thing, and Batman was always my favorite superhero because Batman doesn't have any superpowers. What he's blessed with is intellectual and economic resources that he uses to create tools to affix to his utility belt to give him human leverage to help others. And I thought, what a really cool metaphor for a business consulting practice. I'm married. I have 4 children. I have 3 grandchildren. I live in Aspen, Colorado, and I do have a black belt. I can scuba dive. I do fly jets, and so yes, I am big on skill accumulation.
Well, you took that directly from James Bond. So
I did. The best, JC, the best original ideas belong to somebody else. So steal freely. And I just thought, Curious George, James Bond, Batman have all formed what I do day to day.
If you had to use one adjective to describe you and your personality, what adjective would that be, and why?
Energetic. I have one competitive advantage: energy. I do love people. I love interacting with people. I guess that means I'm an extrovert. But energy. I think life is a contact sport, and I believe you have to participate freely. So I energetically like to participate in whatever I'm doing.
Wow. So for the people that don't know what an Iconoclast executive and mentor capitalist, they don't know what that are. Can you explain that to them?
So the word is iconoclast. An iconoclast is, for lack of a better term, one who's rebellious in the construct of societal norms. So while I value freedom mostly for me, I think I am also responsible. But just because somebody says this is the way we do it and this is the societal norm, I tend to think about things as, well, that doesn't make any sense, or that does make a sense, or that's a good idea, or that doesn't really land for me. Can we try something else? So iconoclastic is whether it's a noun or a verb, is kind of, I think about it as coloring outside the lines. Doing it your own way and not following the path of another, unless your path is Curious George, James Bond, or Batman. But how often do you get to merge those three characters in one interview? The mentor capitalist thing came out as I have had, always had kind of a pay forward, give back kind of orientation. And not everyone gets blessed in life to have good mentors. And so I have, instead of, whining, whimpering in the corner in the fetal position, that, oh my, I didn't have a mentor to follow, I took an iconoclastic path and twisted around with an opportunity that I can then help mentor somebody else. If somebody wasn't really there for me, can I help somebody else? And some of my practice is actually investing in the next generation of real estate entrepreneurs. So in that context, I am a mentor, but I'm a capitalist investing in them and in their business. So I'm big on words, and I'm big on playing with and playing on words. Wait, I can't hear you now. Something.
That was me. I was on mute.
Okay.
So let's talk about your new book, The Freedom Framework. How did you come up with that title? And tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about it.
So freedom, again, the thing I value most in life is freedom. And so I created and protected for myself, but I also created and protected for my constituents or for people that I'm trying to help. In the past, I have done lots of industry roundtables, and I got an idea half a dozen years ago at certain industry associations to focus on young professionals. And as I would facilitate discussions, I realized about a third of their questions were about careers and career management. And I thought to myself, for the last 50 years, I've been curating frameworks that help me manage myself, others, teams, and businesses. I thought, could I inventory all of those frameworks? Could I write a book that becomes a workbook for people? And when I had a writing coach who we got all done says, well, you got to have a target market. And I said, what is that? They said, we got to pick somebody. So I repurposed the book to target the young professional as a career self-management toolbook, and kind of what you and I would refer to as self-efficacy skills, right? How do we get young people to be able to stand up for themselves and not play victim or oppressor, but own their own reality? And these are tools, frameworks. You could read the book, from beginning to end, or you could just jump in, read a chapter on a framework, and it may resonate with you, it may not. I don't have a view that everyone.
Hey Jack, hold that thought. We got to take a station break, but we're going to come back, and we're going to have a lot more, Jack. And so if you want to be part of the conversation, whichever platform that you're watching us on, let's go to it, ask any questions, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
JC Cooley. That's right. It's your life.
Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith and learning come together to transform lives. At VCU, we believe that education is more than just academics. It's about fostering a community of growth, integrity, and purpose. Whether you're pursuing a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, VCU offers flexible, affordable, and 100% online degree programs that cater to your busy life. Our innovative platform provides a personalized learning experience, empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Viridian Christian University, educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
Listen up, it's Dr. J.C. Cooley. Yeah. It's the J. Cooley Show. It's your life. Hey.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Viridian Christian University, educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
That's right. It's your life.
Hello. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and we talking about the freedom frameworks, and we got Jack M. Cohen that's educating us. On why he wrote this book, and we're gonna pick it back up from there. But if you want to be part of the conversation, just go to the platform, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Hey, Jack, I know we had to take that break, and you was explaining what the book is about, why you wrote it, and who inspired you to write this book.
It was, really just, I guess if it was any one person, it was my oldest son, Jared, who I had. When the kids were little, I got tired of the fact, how little children will say, I'll tell them to do something and they'll say, why? And I got tired of explaining, and I would never do what my dad did, which was because I'm the dad and I said so. So I used to say to him, well, it's clear, it's on page 37 of the operating handbook. And eventually, my son wanted to know when I was going to write the operating handbook. So I actually thought about, in the book, keeping page 37 open for that, but decided that joke was just too inside. So it was just an opportunity to put in writing a curated list of frameworks and to tell a story that explained the frameworks through my interactions with my children as a father, my failures and nominal successes as a man and as a professional.
Jack, you mentioned in your book about 3 keys to success. Can you kind of talk about those 3 keys and how they affect not only your business life, but also your personal life?
So I think that there are 3 keys to success in any business. I think the key to the keys is you have to do it every day. And I think every day you need to acquire skills, accumulate experiences, and develop relationships. And it's in that construct that I wrote sections of the book. And so there's a skill transference, there is an experience sharing, and I'm telling stories about relationships that have been developed. But again, my bat cave, if you will, has always been in the commercial real estate finance world. But I think this is in any world. You should be always cross-training, always developing technical skills, business skills, human development skills. You should be throwing yourself into experience. I think life is a to-do activity, not a to-think activity. And as you do those things, you're doing them with others and you're developing relationships. That's, if somebody believed I was successful and asked for my key, it's because for 67 years, I've been acquiring skills, developing experiences, good and bad, and nurturing relationships. Those have been the 3 pillars that hold me up.
Well, a part of those 3 skills, relationships, and, that also encompasses communication. I mean, whether, wherever your role is, let's say in business, it's always good, and just tell me your thoughts on this, to learn the skills to be able to communicate not only with your direct reports, but also senior leadership, because they can take you to another level depending on where you want to go in your career. So can you kind of talk about that, the skills, the communication skills, and also to be comfortable in your own skin, so you won't be nervous based on a person's, role within the company?
Yeah. So there's a lot in the question, Michelle, and I think I'll start by communication. Somebody once told me, as articulate as I may think I might be, the key to communication is that the recipient, the listener, actually hears you. So it's important to learn to speak in a manner that your recipient can process it. I also think that you're talking about not just being heard, but collaborating. And it's interesting because when you think about collaboration, I joke that a lot of people in business believe that the trouble with you is you're just not enough like me. And if you'll just do it my way, then so be it. I mean, I grew up with the same DNA of 3 siblings and myself. I raised 4 children with my wife, and each of my kids and each of my siblings and I are all very different. That, when you go into a business and now everyone who's been in is showing up for work, is showing up with their own DNA, their own values, beliefs, and thoughts. Communication and collaboration is an outgrowth of a collective vision, a collective mission, rules of engagement or norms. And I don't think there is a one size fit all. I think that organizations have to work on it, just like marriages.
Wow. One of our viewers, Teresa Diamond, she sent a comment. She says, I'm wondering if you have ever thought about bringing your insights into the school system, that's the education system. Have you done that before, or have you thought about that?
I have thought about it a lot. And I, of late, have been teaching classes in the college and master's, undergrad and master's program. I've taught at Northwestern. I've taught at Claremont. I've taught at University of Miami, University of Wisconsin, and the University of Denver. And I continue to be interested in that. It's interesting to me because when I talk about a presentation, I talk about the 3 rings. In the first ring is everything we know. The second ring is everything we don't know. And the third ring, what's out there. And it's really a setup. And the setup is in life, and I think this is tied to the school system, is that first ring is everything we know, and the second ring is everything we don't know. And I think higher education sells a bill of goods. They sell this belief that if I can expand the area of what you know, it will consume everything that you need to know to be successful. Therefore, there's nothing you don't know. It's garbage. The real growth is in that third ring where you don't know that you didn't know. And I think the school system needs to do a better job of empowering people to ask questions, to process information, to be able to communicate their ideas, their criticisms. My generation, the generation above me, did a bad job with conflict resolution because they all just kept it within their house. My generation didn't do any better teaching our children how to resolve conflict. But the whole concept of diversity, inclusion, is that people with different perspectives should be able to communicate safely and freely their ideas and debate ideas, as opposed to siloing themselves with people that think and look just like them. I think the school, higher education, has blown that. Totally blown that. So I would love to have the opportunity to help people in that regard.
Well, let's talk about the frameworks. You have offered 60 frameworks in your book. How did you come up with those frameworks? And were there more that you wanted to put in the book, but you weren't able to? How did you come up with these frameworks in your book?
So really, it was me sitting down and kind of inventorying tools and sound bites that eventually got roughed out in writing and then got organized into different frameworks and tools that I could build on. I know that doesn't make any sense, but let me give you an example. I'm in middle school, right? So I'm 12, 13, 14 years old, and I'm looking around. I want to be a good student. I want to produce good results in school. And I realize I'm not a fool, but I'm also not a gifted athlete. I'm not what the coaches would call a 5-tool athlete. So I am blessed with energy, so I'm going to outwork everyone. And I realized that if I develop a time management skill set, and started to attract tools so that I could have human leverage, the first framework I really brought together was my own belief about how to manage time. And I manage time, I think, really well for myself, but also for others. And through this, later on in life, I was working with a coach and I was overwhelmed by the growth of our business. I was getting a divorce. I had young children, and I was in a position of stress. And a guy named Stu Gall taught me the difference between context and content. Context gives meaning to content. And what he tried to get me to understand was a higher context of why I was doing what I was doing. And as soon as I understood that, the burdens of my travel, the burdens of my responsibility with my ex and with my children, and then eventually with my new wife and her children, the burden wasn't any less. But what's the military saying? Pain is mandatory, but suffering is optional.
Hey, Jack, hold that thought. We got to take a station break. I don't want our viewers to miss the point. So when we come back, we're going to pick it up from there. And if you want to be part of the conversation, you can just pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170, or go to the platform that you're watching this on. Ask any comments. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Life. Come on.
At Viridian Christian.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley. featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. A must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books.
Cooley Foundation.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. So, I'm sitting here just having fun with this conversation that we're having with Jack, and I can't wait to jump back into the discussion again. Jack, you were saying that Teresa was right.
Teresa sent a note and a question out that the sooner young kids can get exposed to this kind of thinking, the better off they'll be in school and in college. And I think she's 100% right. And I think a lot of parents understand that, but also a lot of parents kind of get overwhelmed and assume the school system is going to teach them that. And I'm not sure that the school systems are geared to teach curiosity and self-management and self-efficacy. And I don't know if that's the failure of parents or that's the failure of school or a combined suboptimal state.
She just sent another message during the time that you were chatting, and I got it on the screen. Read it, Michelle.
Yes. This teaching will be a great gift to children. It will assist them with study, discipline, and contribute to their lives that are immeasurable. Thank you for your wisdom.
My pleasure. I don't know if it's wisdom or hard-earned losses that you learned then from.
Well, I tell you, well-spoken is wisdom all the way, because we go through trials and tribulation. We get knocked down. We have to get back up. We have to learn. So in order for us to give contributions to others, we have to have learned ourselves, because no one wants to follow a failure or a person that they don't believe in. And so with that being said, you was talking about something similar to that right before we took the break. Can you pick it up?
The 3 circles.
So when I try and encourage people to when they're in a training session, to turn off their internal filters. I want them to experience that their growth happens in the ring where they didn't know that they didn't know. That's why I think it's so important to experience life as opposed to watch it from the sidelines. It's why I believe life is a to-do activity. It's a contact sport. You got to participate freely. And I think people either try and avoid pain or avoid a bad experience by overthinking. They try and take that first circle. I know this. Can I grow my knowledge, that area of that circle, into the area of what I don't know? And I think that's suboptimal. You can't possibly know everything. You can't possibly be prepared for everything. So can you, in fact, put yourself in a open energy state where you can experience what you didn't know, and now you're open to learning, to experiencing, to developing relationships?
One of the most things in your book is basically identifying who do you want to be and what your goals and your purpose is. Why is that so important?
I think that the chapter you're referring to really talks about be, do, have. So many people in life say, oh God, if I only had blank, then I can do what I want and then be happy. It kind of doesn't work that way. I think you have to have a sense of who you are and what you want to be. And if you want to be blank, start doing those things and you will have what you want. So then the question becomes, well, what do you want to be? And this is where I kind of lean into this whole question of experience, trial and error, right? You can course correct all you want. I have a framework in the book where I talk about beginning with the end in mind and creating pull energy. Everyone day to day is in the tyranny of the present. They're overwhelmed, doing the best they can to deal with their own current reality. That's not a place where you can strategize or plan. So I talk about finding a time of the day, a day in the week, where you can pick a point in time in the future and you can fantasize fully about an intended future you want to be, you want to do, you want to have, you want to experience. And if you can inventory all of those elements, that becomes a vision, right? In Alice in Wonderland, Alice is running across the chessboard and the rabbit stops her and says, where are you going? And she says, I don't know. And the rabbit says, well, if you don't know where you're going, any path will get you there. I think a lot of people today don't fantasize enough about the future they want. And I'm talking about 3 years from now, 30 years from now, when they turn 30, 40, or 50. And the beauty of this is you can redo this framework at any time and course correct. But if you have an intended future, and then you can go back and really inventory your current reality, then it's obvious where you have to bridge the gap and build a plan. Let me give you an example. If my intended future is all I really want is to own a scuba diving shop in Portugal, and I look at my current reality and I say, I'm a licensed scuba diver, but I can't speak any language other than English, it would make sense for me to make an action plan to learn Portuguese. Simple example, right? And again, I don't want you to think that I was working my life off of a checklist, right? Life is understood looking backwards, but it's lived forward. But age 10, I see James Bond in Thunderball, and I see the black belt, and I see the scuba diving, and I see the flying an airplane. And these were skills I wanted. And over, it's really over a 50-year period, I'm licensed to fly an aircraft. I fly a jet single pilot. I have a second degree black belt, rock climbing, motorcycles, whatever it may be. These were things that I wanted as part of my utility belt to one day be Batman. I'm not suggesting I'm right. People can laugh about it, but it's a byproduct of creating pull energy by fantasizing a future you want to be, setting that as your context, and now build a plan, right? Plan your work your plan.
Wow. Let's go on. I mean, your book has so many different topics. Let's talk about self-worth and net worth, techniques to increase those, and how is self-worth and network interrelated?
So thanks for going to that. And it's a little bit of a play on words, but let me try and explain. Remember the 3 keys to the success: acquire skills, accumulate experiences, develop relationships. I think the most valuable asset any human being will own, isn't their house, isn't their car, isn't their stock portfolio. It's themselves. Think about it. When we think about investments, we think about creating or investing in an income stream. But when we are employees and an employer will pay us a salary to do a job, if we can accumulate skills, acquire experiences, develop relationships to make ourselves more valuable to an employer or to a customer, they will pay us more. As they pay us more, what is that income stream worth? So if I'm going to buy a building that has a net income of $100,000, I may pay 20 times that. I may pay whatever that value might be. Why wouldn't that equate to the same thing as a human being? I own myself. If my salary can go from $100,000 to $300,000 to $500,000 or more, isn't that my capacity to earn not just valuable for me to spend money, to invest money, but as an earning asset, I have worth. I believe that's economic worth. The concept of self-worth is all these things that come together. Again, I talk about this in the book a little bit, and I fumble about it, but I'm not here to say that the higher your net worth, the higher your self-worth. Yes. I think self-worth is about a peace of mind, that you're comfortable, you're in your own shoes, that you actually like yourself. I don't mean narcissistically, that you have worked hard to accomplish something, whatever it is, good grades, whatever. But now you feel confident, and maybe you have put savings in the bank. Maybe you have earnings to help you. All of those tie self-worth and net worth together.
Hold it, though. We got to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. This is so intriguing. And I tell you what, it ain't too late to be part of this conversation. Let's go to the comments on whichever platform you're watching this on. Ask any questions. I promise you, Jack will get you an answer. And if you want to be part of this, y'all pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. It's your life. We'll see you shortly after the break.
With Dr. James.
There's much truth in a journey that ain't over yet, as all of us journey through life's precious gift of time, just like I have in the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet. You can join James as he shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. This is a must listen for anyone who thinks they're stuck in life or needs to understand that their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, a journey that ain't over yet, is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, by Dr. James Cooley, on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
At Viridian Christian University, we believe education is more than just a degree. It's a pathway to a purpose-driven life. Whether you're advancing your career, pursuing a passion, or building a new future, VCU's 100% online programs give you the flexibility to learn on your terms, anywhere, anytime. With expert faculty, personalized mentorship, and a faith-centered approach, you'll gain the skills, knowledge, and leadership you need to make a lasting impact. VCU offers bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees, each designed to empower you for success in today's fast-changing world. Join a global community of believers, learners, and leaders. Ready to start your journey? Viridian Christian University, transforming lives, empowering futures. Visit us at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. That's ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Hey, Todd, I would love to get your perspective on this conversation.
Great show, great guest, and I can't wait to hear more.
Oh, absolutely. You know, but before we get back to the guests, I want to talk about this university. Yes, I'm the chancellor of Viridian Christian University. Wow, we offer 30-degree programs. We offer bachelor's, master's, doctorate, and if you're great in what you do and you're doing things for the community, doing things for the world, we honor people with honorary doctorate degrees. So I tell you what, if you're looking to further your education, our program is 100% online right now. All you have to do is just go to Viridian Christian University, look us up, and I tell you what, I think you're going to be excited. You know, I want to get back to this conversation. Michelle, wow, this guest right here is incredible. I got to have him back on the show again. I mean, if his schedule permits.
Yes, most definitely.
It would be my pleasure. I'm sure I'm talking too fast.
No. You're not. I mean, I'm telling you, just like my great buddy Teresa Diamond. Wow, man, if this was in the schools, if this was in the communities, if this was in the churches, I think, and how would I put this? I think we can create and better educate our youth, our young adults, our communities, everybody, and bring them up. And help lift them up that they are purpose driven.
Yeah.
Purpose driven. And that's Rick Warren, by the way. I mean, but that's so important. So I want to pick it back up with that. Michelle, you got the question.
Oh, okay. I thought you were up. Okay. So collaboration. Collaboration is an important part of just, I would say, self-worth. But can you kind of define what you mean by collaboration in your book, The Freedom Frameworks, Jack?
Hold on. Let me say something. As you saw in the last video, the 4 C's: create, collaborate, commit with confidence. And collaboration is so important, Jack, that, that's wrote a song about it, all that. But I create, collaborate, commit with confidence. And this goes along the lines of what we're talking about today. If a person follow those 4 C's or those 3 C's, all this stuff you've been talking about, the circles, that create the big C called character. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, obviously, character drives them all. While I'm not educated like you as it relates to psychology or philosophy, I do believe that our beliefs and our values drive our thoughts, and our thoughts drive our actions. But I think that collaboration is as much about the leader of the team as it is anything else. I like to play with acronyms: team, TEAM, together, everyone accomplishes more. And I think that the trick for collaboration is to find common ground. We can't do it my way because I wasn't brought up the way you were brought up. And we can't do it your way because I wasn't brought up the way you were brought up. So we have to come up with the way the business, the platform, the team will interact with one another. And I think character starts, but respect, honor, integrity. I'm a big believer in the concept of radical candor. A woman by the name of Kim Scott wrote a book about this. I find that a lot of people care deeply about people, but they're uncomfortable speaking their truth directly. Kim Scott talks about radical candor in that context as somebody who likes people but can't be direct, has a ruinous empathy. And I think direct conversation with frameworks. There's a framework I have in the book that was taught to me on conflict resolution, how to really talk about my experience and not point a finger at you. But I think collaboration is about finding rules of engagement for members of the team to interact in an acceptable manner. And I don't mean not yelling or screaming, but one of my pet peeves are meetings that start on time. So when I'm involved running a meeting, everyone I know in my world shows up on time. And they may not show up on time to other people. They just know I'm going to start the meeting. And if they're not there, I'm not backtracking. It's as simple as that.
Wow. As you see, Teresa, she agreed that this man can change the paradigm of learning. And
thank you, Teresa.
Man, I tell you, man, you are very, very good at what you do.
Thank you.
So you mentioned developing a unique professional identity using specific strengths and weaknesses. How can someone embrace their weaknesses and turn them into strengths?
Well, work on them. It's interesting because Sun Tzu in The Art of War, when he has a framework on this where he basically, if you're going to attack the enemy, attack them on their strengths and beat them at their best as opposed to their weaknesses, right? I think one of the problems with people is we all show up every day with a mask and maybe body armor on. And I think that if we can be comfortable in our own skin and be willing to be part of the journey, I say to people that, bad experience basically comes from bad judgment, but you can learn from that bad experience, develop good judgment, and then have a good experience. So if fear is false expectations appearing real and fail is first attempt is learning, then what you really have to have is a self-worth, a self-confidence that there's going to be ups and downs in your life, and you just got to keep persevering. Angela Duckworth wrote a book on perseverance called Grit, and she studied students all through various ages, demographics, industries, and what she found is the people who will have the most success are the ones who will grind it out. So be a grinder. It's not flashy, but as I used to say to my son Wyatt, is that life is really hard if you only do the easy stuff, but it's easy if you're willing to buckle down and do the hard stuff.
Wow, you know what? I just stole that from you.
You can steal it.
False expectation appearing real. I know the audience. You said, oh, okay, yeah, they have to look. I tell you, how can people get a copy of your book and reach out to you if they wanted to?
So it's on all the platforms, but Amazon seems to be the one that is just coming out. Shortly, next week, we're going to release an audiobook. This is fun. I explain the frameworks by stories about my children and myself. So my son Wyatt is going to be narrating the book in the audiobook. So Wyatt's going to be telling stories as me about him. If that doesn't put him into therapy, I don't know what will. So
I can't wait.
It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, whatever. It's Freedom Frameworks. And people can find me at my website is darkknightventures.net. So that's Batman, 2 Ks, ventures, plural.net. And my phone number is 312-543-5872. And I'm happy to participate to help people optimize their journey.
Wow. I tell you what, we got about a minute left in the show. What are 2 takeaways that you want our viewers and our listeners to take from this great discussion?
I would say 1, invest in yourself. And 2 is kind of find your secret sauce. I have a framework. It's not in the book, but when I teach salespeople how to stand out in a sales meeting, it's called Red Shirt. And the key to it is to find the secret sauce, right? My mother made great meatloaf. I loved it until my wife made better meatloaf. I don't know why, what secret sauce they put in it. But it was funny. I was working with a guy who ran the Southern California region for Colliers International, and we were doing this process, and we found out this guy on the weekend goes into the mountains and does search and rescue. This is a big guy. And when I found that out, that he has the skills and the interest to help people in survival situations, I can't remember his name, but we referred to him as a Saint Bernard. And wouldn't you want to go work for a guy like that who in his free time is helping people survive an accident? So my
we out of time right now, but wow, man, I would love to have you back on the show. This was absolutely fantastic. So looking forward to getting you back on soon if your schedule permits. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. I'd like to thank my producers in San Diego, especially Todd Pirate, always there. And my viewers and our listeners, always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life.